You're tuned in to the Behind the Ears podcast with Uncle Danny and Mr. Chris, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind the Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Expedition Roasters is the artisanal roaster of specialty Disney-inspired coffees. Why not brew some of the magic at your home? Some of our coffees include Skipper's Brew, Ghoulish Delight, Enchanted Tiki Coconut, Redhead Rum, and many other unique roasts. Our coffees are certified gluten and allergen-free and feature unique custom artwork by guest artists. Expedition Roasters offers an adventure in every bag. So start your adventure today by visiting us online at expeditionroasters.com. That's expeditionroasters.com. And Behind Ears listeners, be sure to take advantage of this exclusive offer and save 20% on your first purchase with code EARS20. That's EARS20 at expeditionroasters.com. Brew your happy place. Do you have a little one and don't want to bring your stroller from home? Have you destroyed a stroller in the past from all the wear and tear from a Disney vacation? Well, Kingdom Strollers is a great place to rent a great quality stroller at a reasonable price. Kingdom Strollers is a Disney-featured stroller provider, which means they will be delivered right to your resort, even if you're not there. Same thing for picking it up at the end of your trip. So if you're in need of an affordable stroller rental during your next Orlando trip, consider renting from a Disney-trusted stroller company. Visit kingdomstrollers.com for more information.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny, the man over there, just sitting there. He's got the man with the plan. That is Mr. Chris. It is a Thursday, and technically we are past episode 200 now. So now we are back to our normal grind. The internet seems to be rebuilding after the hurricane of news that Disney broke, but it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you that. But we'll get to that in just a second. Mr. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I mean, it's been a crazy week, not just everything from the Disney perspective. It's just been a crazy week altogether, and I am just glad to be here hanging out with our friends online. And you know what? For our podcast listeners, we're glad that you're joining us. We know that it's been a little while since we've had some things taken care of on the podcast side of things. Fortunately, if you're hearing this, it's fixed. And believe me, it's not been easy, but I am glad to be here, man. I think we're going to be in store for a really cool show with even maybe a surprise or two towards the end. What do you say?
Ooh, surprises. I like surprises.
Oh, it's going to be cool.
Let's touch on it. All right. We'll just dive headfirst into it. Why not? We are proud to still stand by the fact that we broke the news the other day. And we stand by this very proudly, and you will see me post in other places how proudly we are of it, that we were the first people to break the news about the Disney changing their prices, well, actually adding prices to park for overnights. We were 100% right on everything we called, including the prices, but there seems to be a snag. And where there's a snag, there's a story. And the story is that Disney announces it 24 hours after we did. Great and dandy. And then they update their website to show that March 21st, which is my birthday, by the way, is the last day if you haven't booked a trip. That's when they start charging you. Here's the thing. They update the website. It's all listed on there. 24 hours later, we move to today, which is March 15th. And that little section is completely taken off the website.
But
there's a but.
Even since then, because I will give credit where credit is due, Happily Ever Disney was the first site that I saw that actually noticed that when they went to the website, it was all taken down in the sense of the pricing and everything else. However, since the time I saw that, just after the normal working hours until about a half hour, 45 minutes ago, it's back. It's back.
It's back on?
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, people have heard me say this before. I'm going to say this again. Nothing is ever official at Disney until the first guest experiences it. And even then, it is subject to change. It really is. There's nothing you can do about it. it is what it is. But I'll tell you right now, yesterday, wow. I mean, you would think that this was Wreck-It Ralph because it broke the internet.
Yeah. And shout out to Mr. Snipes in the audience, who is he's a listener to the show, and he's actually been participating a lot more now. He gave us the credit where the credit was due. But, we have the thread going on in our page, and, I don't like the notion of people being like, oh, it fell off the website, they must have heard our voice. Honestly, when I read it, I didn't want to say it because, God forbid, I was wrong. I didn't want to have to retract anything unnecessarily, but it was... I hate to tell anybody this. Do they listen to us on certain things? Sure. And I don't mean us like me and Chris. I mean the general population who attends to Disney. This was something that they were not going to change over whether you like it or not. And when it comes to money, I'm sorry, Disney's not going to change it. I thought it had to be a snafu. Maybe somehow coding it fell out. Someone mistakenly maybe just put up the old one and didn't put up the new one. Maybe they're doing, backroom stuff, but there was no way that they were taking that away. That was too big of an announcement. And there was a lot of planning that went into, doing this for them to take it away 24 hours later.
Yeah. And you know what the bad part is that, I just reposted the comment from Happily Ever Disney, and I checked
there they are right there.
Yeah, there they are. Hey, how's it going? And the thing of it is that before I even posted it, I checked it. And I also asked her for her permission if I could just go ahead and do that, because I wanted to make sure I gave credit where credit was due. Here's the funny part. Remember how I said by the time I came back, it was already changed? There was already other, Disney sites that published exactly the same thing that Happily Ever Disney, posted first. And now it's out there and it's being spread again. So you know what's going to happen? This stuff is not going to end tonight. This stuff is going to continue on through tomorrow, because now some of those places are going to have to take their stuff down, or going to have to retract those particular articles, because it's going to go like wildfire. This is a hot topic, and we're not going to beat this into the ground tonight. But the thing is that I think it's very interesting on how about 98% of the comments that were made were not necessarily in Disney's favor. And I know that there are people that were trying to play the other side of the coin and kind of think about ways that this could be helpful. I watched Lou Mangello last night, and I actually got a chance to talk to him last night about this and on his show. And, the thing is that I totally respect it. The fact that, there are probably some benefits that are coming from this, but those benefits are not necessarily going to be well received. Taking into consideration, people were not happy that they were going to have to shell out more cash. But I said this before, I'll say it again. It may change the way most people do Disney. Some people have said, I've talked to a few other people today, as a matter of fact, they may consider offsite more, or this, that, and the other. Most people are still going to continue going to Disney, and they're going to budget for this one way, shape, or form. The fact is that I know there have been people that said that they're not going to go back because they're just tired of the nickel and diming. And I could understand that to a certain extent, but the fact is that that's a
knee-jerk reaction.
It's a knee-jerk reaction, because we are not going to make a lifetime decision over $20 a day. That's the main thing. We're not going to make those kinds of decisions. You're going to make those decisions, and I would be willing to bet a cough drop that I'm willing to bet a cough drop that some of those people 6 months after they don't go, or, beyond the time that they said that they weren't going to go, they'll be back. They'll be making their reservations. And, I respect either way. You know what? Everybody's got their opinion with this, and I'm not going to tell anybody that they're wrong. The thing is that there could be another side of the coin to this. Lou made comments about trying to help, reduce some congestion on the roads and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, that's not a bad reason, to try to discourage people from just driving to the parks and keeping people off the street. That's why I park my truck when I get there, and I leave it there. I don't want to drive there. you know.
Here's the thing. Let's call it an even $110 for a value, right?
Sure.
I don't think that you're going to not travel to Disney over $100 when you're spending a few thousand just to get there when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean,
now with that being said, I don't really think that this is this big of an issue. I think it became this big of an issue because they just hit you with another ticket increase. They hit you with an increase in food. They hit you with the increase of the parking lots if you don't have an AP or you're not staying on property. That's a problem. They just hit every family with a larger bill. And now it just seems, it's like that last dagger because, oh, what do you mean? I'm spending, for a family of 4, I'm spending $5,000. You really got to charge me another 100. When you look at it monetarily, an extra 100 is not going to make or break a Disney trip. If it is, and I say this with the utmost respect for everybody, if that $100 is going to make or break your Disney trip, you might want to hold off another year for that Disney trip.
I've said that before. And I also say and feel that with the utmost respect as well. I know there are some people that really do it on budget and they want to keep in that budget. Hey, I get it. I'm a budgeter myself. But the thing of it is that, I kind of see the ticket price increase and you multiply that by 4, a family of 4 or 5 and, especially for the number of days that you normally stay. And, anytime you have a price increase like this, it's mainly because you want some sort of behavior to change. And, in this case, they probably want fewer people to actually drive in. They want lesser traffic. They want fewer people in the parking lots. I get it. I myself stay off the roads anyway, because like I said, I parked Diz Truck 1. Diz Truck 1 stays there until Diz Truck 1 is ready to take us home. But that's just us. There are people that rent cars, because that's actually a big thing. It's going to change the rental car demand for sure.
God, yeah.
Because now you've increased your rental car costs overall, your transportation costs, not by 15 or 20%. Like
in some cases by 100%.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And for me, I consider my transportation costs mainly being the amount that it costs in fuel to get down to Disney. And I've said it before, it's about $400. This adds another 150 on top of it. That means I'm going to increase that by another 25% or something like that. You add on another $20 a day to a $30 rental car, and you've way, in some cases, if you get your car really cheap, it's going to double it.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of percentages, right? It's a matter of percentages. And, but like I said, it's part of the reason is to help, condition people to do something different. I think Lou Mangello was right on the nose on that yesterday when he talked about it. And I didn't think about that when we talked about it on Tuesday, but I don't think that particular item it's not going to be at the forefront of people's minds, to be honest with you.
I'm going to answer a couple questions here. Kylie, my question is, how will they watch to see your car was there every night? Will there be decals, more security? It's more going to be the fact of, I don't want to call it the honor system because it's really not, but it's sort of kind of on the same line as it. When you go to check in, when you get to that gate and you check in, they're going to ask you if you have a car. And I'm sure there's going to be roaming. I mean, everything gets electronically entered. So I don't know the way that the security is going to do, but I'm sure they'll have somebody going through the parking lot and all their machines, they're always taking down your license plate. Don't think just because you don't see them write them down, they do write down your license plate, whether it's electronically, by hand, that's a different story. There's going to be no decals, not like they used to. There's no decals, no paper tickets as of right now. A lot of it's going to be done through cameras, and I'm assuming rolling security. But once again, that's something I don't see, where it's coming out from. Tomorrow is asked, is it just if you're staying at a resort, or are they changing for me to drive to Poly just to eat at a Haunted? No, it's only if you are staying at the resort and it's overnight parking. You still get the complimentary parking. And once again, people, that is a 3-hour window. And you might say, I've been getting away with it for years though. Watch. I'm not saying in 6 months from now you can't get away with it again. I'm saying if you're doing that, you do you, boo. But make sure that, you know, starting March 21st or whenever they really fully roll this out and implement it, they're going to watch you. I'm not saying they're going to have a stopwatch and at 3:01 you're getting a ticket or something like that, but they're going to know if that car has been in there for 9-10 hours. You're not at Ohana for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Just not.
I think you're right. I think they have the technology to do it. I'm virtually positive. The fact of the matter is that there have been people that have reported seeing people get towed. And there's a lot of people that said, "Oh, I've never seen." You said it. I know someone that has seen a car get towed, not their car, but someone else's car get towed. And you know, it's just they're going to close a loophole sooner or later. And I would just say, play by the rules until you feel like you want to take additional risks. I'm not saying take additional risks. I'm saying everybody has to make their own decision.
Yeah, and you know, listen. The main objective and what they're gonna spew out to you, and I think Aaron from Mouse Master Travel was on with us. Well, he was in the commenting section on Tuesday. He said it. You know, they want to keep they want to make sure there's less cars on the road. And my argument to that is, but your buses are already full. So, you know, his response to that was, well, they'll put more buses out there. Yeah, but they can't even have enough buses out for it now. Unless you're staying at Deluxe, there's not enough buses. Moderates, depending on your time of day. A value, get out of here. Get out. You're not moving on a value.
Yeah, even with the cool accordion buses, as we call them, they're not big enough. You know, they're not big enough to absorb this. But, you know, the fact of the matter is other people are saying, hey, the gondola is coming. And people are really looking forward to that. I'm still kind of thinking how that's going to, you know, impact transportation in general. Can't wait to try it, to be honest with you. But I still think that it's going to be one of those things.
Okay. So they know we are staying there. Let the price be included in the reservation. So what you're telling, and this is not an attack on you because, listen, I've heard this statement like 15 times today. Yeah. It's the point of, does it really matter whether they're telling you the parking is included or not? Like, if they just said, okay, your room's going up $15 a night, would that sit easier with everybody compared to them saying it's $15 or $13 a day for parking? To me, either way, going up $13 is going up $13. I don't care where it's going. I'm just upset my price just went up $13 a day.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you're trying to condition the guests to do something in particular, you're not going to hide the fact that they're upping the price of a hotel room because you're always going to get the hotel room. If you look at it, no one usually complains about hotel rates going up because they're not really announced. They're not really analyzed by many people. And, you know, because whatever rate you see is the rate you're going to pay. And it's just one of those things. It's not until after you look back at some of your files and you say, holy cow, I used to pay $100 a night to stay at Riverside. Then you realize, wow, now I'm paying $200 a night to stay at Riverside.
Yeah. Listen, the handicap, I know I've seen a couple of people say it. I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris. I apologize. Handicap is still free, complimentary, self-parking, free complimentary valet parking. This does not affect the handicap whatsoever. And they'll never turn you away. They will find a place for your car. I promise you, if you are handicapped, they are not turning you away. And if they do, bring that to somebody, not lawyers, but bring that to another cast member because they're not going to turn down a handicap. I do apologize for cutting you off.
No, all I was going to say to finish that, by the way, very good point that you made there. It's just one of those cases where there is a sense of industrial engineering involved here. You know, there is a sense of psychological engineering here. You know, if you know that something's going up, now you're going to do something differently. Now you're going to do Disney differently. And so that's just the way it is. And also at the same time, you're going to say, okay, fine. It's happening. I'll have to budget for it. That's how I see it. I'm going to have to budget for it because even though I'm a DVC member and I usually stay on points, you know what's going to happen. I mean, I do sometimes stay at other resorts on cash. So I'm still going to have to pay some of those fees. So.
See, and Stan even says, if you put more buses on the road, what are you going to pay for that? Because everybody was saying before, well, what happens if they charge you for the Magical Express? Do you not think that's not built into those room rates? Because that is. the free Disney transportation, come on, we all know that nothing is free. It's just like when you go to buy something, buy one get one free. You know they jacked up the first one, right? You do get
it's also like the misnomer of free dining. Your free dining is not free because you're paying a full rack rate for the room rather than most times you're going to get a discount of some sort. That's the thing. So
now Trisha asked an interesting question.
What's that?
What is the reasoning behind the tiered pricing? I can't tell you the exact reasoning, but this is where my mind went. Okay, well, obviously the tier is going to break down to, hotel tiering, which makes sense. I mean, if you're staying at a nicer resort, you're getting closer parking. You tend, usually. So I thought maybe that's why. But my mind went to this: is more people drive at values. The parking lots tend to be a lot bigger. So you could have went $23 across the board, but I guess in their minds is if we lower it to 13 because we know we're going to get more people driving in there, it doesn't hurt them as bad. And maybe it was a conscious decision not to hurt the average Joe who can, only afford to bring his family once a year and stay at a value. There's nothing wrong with that. But maybe that $110, $120 won't hurt as bad at a value. And sickly twisted minds that I also have is, listen, if you're paying $500 a night for Poly and you're driving, I'm sorry, I'm not here to spend your money, but I'm sure you can swing $23 a night in parking. That's just my personal guess. I have no idea.
And actually,
you pay the fee at checkout. I apologize.
Yeah, you pay the fee at checkout. And also Stan, actually, I don't know if you see his comment there. He basically says in answering Trisha, I feel the tiered pricing is because it's a bigger issue in the deluxe resorts and moderates. More so the deluxe resorts, or maybe I even should say more so around the monorail resorts than say Animal Kingdom Lodge has a big parking lot. Wilderness Lodge, big parking lot. The moderates all have really pretty sizable parking lots. Unfortunately, Carol, veterans are not free. That wasn't AP holders, not free. So
can you believe this though? She was handicapped DVC waiting for valet and they would not let him into the gate of the Contemporary. Yeah, Mary, that happens again. You cause a stink.
Go to a team lead, a supervisor. That's not fair to you. And you know what? Someone made a mistake. And the fact that if they didn't let you in because of, they're saying, oh, it's full, or they didn't believe you or something like that, that's wrong. I would say that's when you say, you know what? I kindly request to talk to a supervisor and keep your cool, express the situation. I'm sure the next time, first off, I hope it never happens again. And if it does, I hope you can get it taken care of quickly.
Okay, so Trisha, I get where you're coming from. I get it. You might have been saving up $500, for 5 years to stay at Poly. I get that. And for that person in that, I'm gonna call it the minority. It's what it is, though. And I hate to sound crude about it, but if you've saved up 5 years to go to Poly, you're probably in the minority. If the most of the people who are there are either going to be DVC or they're going there frequently. And that's just my understanding of the people when I people watch and what I see. I could be completely off basis, and if you don't agree with me, hey, that's awesome. That's the whole point of all this. I just think that this is the way you can equate it, maybe a little bit simpler.
Yeah.
You have a mom and pop hotel, you have a Holiday Inn, you've got the Ritz-Carlton. I know it's the same parking spot. It fits the same dimensions. It's the same distance away. But that Holiday Inn and that Ritz-Carlton are always going to be two different prices in parking.
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is, hey, listen, I know people that saved for 2 or 3 years to go, and they stay at a deluxe resort. It's as simple as that. And they're like, we won't be able to do this again for a long time because we stayed up for so long. I get it. But it's also, think of it, it could be more of a percentage. Teresa, let's go ahead and talk about this. You say, so wait, even though my family is DVC members and annual pass holders, we're still going to have to pay for parking in October. No. You are DVC members. You are staying on points. You will not have to pay for parking. All I meant is that annual pass holders
do not get free
parking. So Just make
But
sure
you
that's
still get your free parking in the park. So
Yeah.
they didn't take that away. Thank
This is all
goodness. 'Cause there was
resorts.
rumors
This is all
about
about the
that.
resort stuff.
No, they are not charging for gondolas. Yes, Gordon is a straight up money grab. Jessica, I would assume that doesn't count.
No, it does.
Really?
And the thing is, if you are a renter of DVC points and you stay on a DVC point stay at a DVC resort, and even if you stay on points at a non-DVC resort, which by the way is a horrible way to use your points, you will get free parking. That was confirmed by DVC, because what they're saying is that the DVC members' dues per point goes to pay for the parking.
Wow.
So yeah, that I was able. I heard it. Someone else confirmed it. So if you're a renter of points, you will get free parking.
I'm so on board with Tim. That's it. I'm getting a jetpack. Make me pay for that now. Skip over those security lines in a flash.
Didn't they have a jetpack? Some guy flying a jetpack during the opening of Epcot. I'm gonna have now I'm gonna have to find something, because I thought I saw someone wearing a jetpack when Epcot was opening. It was so 80s. I mean, it was so cool 80s. So
you're telling me if I go through a third-party renting site to rent DVC points, that counts? I thought you had to physically be the DVC member. No?
Nope. Not what they're saying right now. Now that is subject to change. Your mileage may vary.
Things.
I mean, it does. But it also is one of those cases where, renting points is already a really good value in a lot of cases. Okay. Especially if you're not a member. But, the thing is that it really is a good value. But I'm going to say this. I want to make sure people understand something. DVC perks can and will change over time. So this may or may not change over time. It's as simple as that. So, we'll have to see. I mean, Jessica, go ahead. You're probably good.
No, you can go ahead, because it was not regarding what Jessica said. So go ahead.
Okay. So like Jessica, I know you're kind of contemplating trying to figure out what to do for your special trip later in the year. Renting DVC points, staying at a DVC, in a DVC villa can be a great way to experience a deluxe resort for basically the same kind of cash you do stay at a value. So the thing is that it could be a possibility. But right now, anybody staying on points, let's just leave it that way. You're going to have your parking included.
Okay. I want to look into that, and it's not that I don't trust Chris. So I might have just read the release that we had differently.
No,
I might have honestly just skipped over that.
I totally get it. Get it. And I would like for,
Because I'm shocked, because that to me is wrong. But at the same time, no, I guess you could just flash your DVC card.
The thing is that later on, I will also go onto the DVC member site, and I will double check to see if there's any verbiage on there that we can share.
Okay. So let me throw a curveball.
Okay.
You're a DVC member, but you're out of points, and you're staying at Art of Animation on cash.
Nope, paying.
Really?
Yep.
So you have to physically be using points.
No,
or paying cash at a Disney DVC hotel.
In a villa, and I have to say that because keep in mind you have resorts that are split between DVC and normal hotel rooms, such as Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Polynesian. Because they have those are different components. So DVC members who are staying in a villa on a cash reservation will still be able to get free parking. So let's say I was staying at Saratoga and I used all my points, but I wanted to have 2 or 3 more nights there, and I was going to pay cash for those nights through DVC. I would still get that.
Wow.
I would still get that perk. I call
That's
it a perk,
wild. So it's got to be the villa section.
Got to be a villa. So if I was staying at a regular room at Wilderness Lodge, and I'm not over in the DVC sections,
but you're still using points.
But if I'm
see, this is a weird line.
Let me say this one more time, all in succession.
Okay.
A DVC member staying on points in a DVC villa will not have to pay parking. A DVC member staying on cash in a DVC villa will not have to pay parking. A DVC member staying on points in a non-DVC villa room will not have to pay parking. A DVC member staying on cash, in a non-DVC villa will have to pay parking.
Okay, so the only way that they pay for parking is if you are paying cash and you are not in a Disney villa.
Right.
So, but you could pay cash and be in a Disney villa and not pay.
That's correct.
Okay. So basically, just not go to a Disney villa. It's that simple. Use your points wisely.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I've never paid cash for a DVC room. Usually, if I'm paying cash, I am going to go to a moderate. I'm going to a value. So
okay, something's up right now. Lisa just now was on the Walt Disney World site and it switched back to complimentary parking.
Hold on.
So I see Chris feverishly typing over there. He will get you a more updated. Let's see. Megan, you guys mentioned you could stay at a deluxe for the price of a value by renting DVC points. How is that done? Megan, we'll do a show on that because that's we want to set you up with somebody good, and I'm not going to go into all that.
I'll go ahead and do this. This is going to be difficult, so give me a second. I'm reading it right here. disneyworld.disney.go.com/guest-services/parking. And it has the charges there, right here.
It's weird. People are getting weird. Different things back. Crazy. Here's
the thing. I'm going to break out the techie in me. Something tells me that their servers are a little out of sync. Things are not necessarily replicated because you're not just hitting up against one computer in a big infrastructure like Disney. So you're probably getting something that's what we like to refer to as cached. So the prices are back as of right now. I just read it to you.
Okay. So here's another question. If we're taking a Disney cruise, using the transportation from the hotel to the cruise, then back to the same hotel for the night, would we leave the car without paying? No, it's overnight. It doesn't. Oh,
no. The thing is that actually has been a subject of conversation, and no one has gotten a really good answer yet. To be honest with you, here's the thing. Personally, I'll be really honest. Depending on how long your cruise is, you would actually probably be better off just driving your car, taking it to the port, and paying for parking at the port, which, by the way, is not controlled by Disney.
It's less than $13 a day?
I can't remember exactly how much it is, but what I'm getting at, though, is that you still have to pay for transfers between a resort and port, or even from Orlando International Airport to port. That's not free anyway.
Oh, I didn't know
it's
that.
It's not like Disney Cruise Line does not run a Magical Express type of service. So you have to be able, you're paying that money. You're paying for a transfer, whether or not you do an Uber or a private town car, I should say, or you use Disney Cruise Line stuff.
Disney Cruise Line bus is not free?
No, it's not. Give me one second.
Wow. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to do this and we're going to do that. So I didn't know that. So I'm going to have to learn. I'm going to have to read into that more. So just have to book before March 21st. Yeah, that's all you got to do. As long as you are booked before March 21st, it does not mean you have to go before March 21st. It just solely means that you need to be booked. So you could book your trip for next March if you want. Definitely always good to book in advance. How many people are booking vacations for 4 to 5 years in advance? I mean, you would never really honestly want to do that because the prices that that would be a specialty book anyway, and I've never heard of anybody booking that far in advance. Transfers aren't cheap. Speaking of that topic, we're gonna have to do a little more research on that because I know Chris is right. I actually just Googled it while he was saying it. I didn't get the price wise, but let's see. Samara is saying that last year was $70 round trip. I could probably get you a town car for cheaper. I'm gonna look into that, and maybe we'll have to have a discussion next week about it. Someone remind me on the WDW community over the weekend. So for the people that drive to the resort and then drive to the park, they're paying for parking at the park. No. If you're staying at a Disney resort, you get free parking. Okay. Okay. I have to reword that before people freak out. You are, if you are staying at a Disney resort, you get complimentary parking at the theme parks. So they're not double whamming you. You're not getting hit with the $40 preferred parking at, Magic Kingdom or the TTC, and then getting hit with your $25 at, your deluxe resort. No. You're only paying for the actual resort. If you park your car at the Walmart in Port Canaveral and Uber over, then you get very cheap parking. Yeah, you also have a very good chance of getting your car broken into and not being there. I do not recommend that to anybody. Hey, you can get away with it. I'm just saying. Oh man, see, John, I'm glad somebody else agreed with me. Port parking is very expensive. I can't remember how much it was, but I'm thinking it was around $150 for 7 days. So,
well, the thing is, that's almost $20 a day.
Yeah, so depending on your resort, yeah, and if you're staying at deluxe, yeah,
and depending on how long your cruise is to begin with. So the thing of it is that I've parked at port before. It's really not a big deal. It's a somewhat secured lot. I mean, you're not going to get people walking up and through there and everything else like that.
This is the truest statement that anybody said, and I've seen a couple different podcasts go live about it, and no one has talked about this. If you book before March 21st, but you see a different promotion come out and you change your reservation, you will get hit with the parking. You might say, why? Because you don't realize this. Say I have a trip booked. I booked my trip on March 20th, but April 2nd, I find a new promotion. They don't just change the price for you. They cancel your reservation and make you a new reservation. It's a completely different reservation number. Now, it doesn't matter.
The thing is, it's different if you make a change to your current reservation and your current reservation number does not change.
Yes, but you're not, if the changes Chris speaks of is not anything that's going to save you money. Usually most of the changes add money when you really be, unless you're taking somebody out of a room or, or you're just losing a room. But if you are looking for, like, hypothetically speaking, a free dining popped up next week and you wanted it, no, the only time that stays, like Chris said, is if your reservation number does not change.
Yeah. And will that change later? Who knows? But the fact of the matter is that if you got your reservation, before the 21st, I'd leave it there unless for some reason, well, think about it.
Coming out.
No, I mean, here's the thing. If you're going to be saving a ton of cash anyway, I think it would still be in your best interest to probably go ahead, change it, and then be subject to parking fees, because chances are your parking fees is, you're going to save more than what your parking fees are going to come up to. So
yeah. Well, that's a smart thing, like Chris is saying. Weigh the pros and cons. If a new package is only saving you $150, it's really not. At the end of the day, you're saving. Say it's saving you $150, and you're there for a week, and you were parking at Pop for a week, and parking came to $120, $30. I guess you could say, hey, it's $30. It's $30. I would never deter someone from not saving $30. But at the same time, it's weigh your options. Make sure that your new promotion that you got all happy about doesn't hurt you in the back end, because now it's actually losing money because now you're paying for the parking. We did have a question here. Lisa, but why the tiers? Are the parking spots at Deluxe bigger and maybe decorated nicer, so that why they cost more? The whole parking fee disappoints me. No, it's not bigger. They're a little bit closer. Let me rephrase that. Some tend to be closer. It's in, like, as me and Trisha kind of bumped heads on this before. It's literally going to come down to the fact of, and this is my opinion, this is not what Disney has said by any stretch of the imagination. It is simply their eyes. If you can afford a deluxe, you can afford a little bit more in parking. That's how I looked at it. The parking lots are smaller.
Think of it more as a percentage type of thing. I mean, obviously, I was kind of thinking about it. I go, it's almost the same amount percentage-wise increase for percentage-wise increase for values and moderates. You're not paying an equal amount percentage-wise for deluxes for most of their rooms, but you're not going to pay $50 a day for parking. So
see, if you change your reservation and you get all mad and you see it somewhere online, tell them they should have listened to Behind the Ears podcast. They should have been listeners, because I could have saved you boatloads of money. I'm like Geico. I've saved you 15. Well, I saved you $150 on your car insurance in 15 minutes. Or however their commercial goes. I butchered theirs. Sorry, Geico.
By the way, one other thing I wanted to comment. Going back to the whole port type of thing. It was like what, $70 round trip per person for Disney Cruise Line transfers. Basically the way, and I've kind of looked into this before. If you have
it's 70 a person,
mm-hmm.
Why would anybody pay that? You get a limo for cheaper.
No, here's the thing though. You don't, unless you have about 4 people. If you have about 4 people in your group, family of 4 going, it becomes more economical. It's like right on the border, and you get more personal service to have a car service take you.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's 3 people or 2 people, or if you're going solo on a cruise, the fact of the matter is that you're still going to pay that same rate that you would for 4 people in a town car. So the thing is that there is a break-even point, and roundabouts way, your mileage may vary, is that breaking point is about 4 people. We've only done transfers, or we've actually driven to port ourselves and left our truck there and paid for parking. So just kind of keep that in mind. So if you have 5 people, by all means, go get yourself, hire a car and have them take you. They'll get you in an SUV or a van or something like that for 5 or 6 people even.
But I bet right now, I'm not going to give out the company name because that's not, I'm going to do it. But I bet I can get you a limo one way for $150. And you got 2 people, that's $140. So that's $20.
That's $70 round trip.
Oh, I thought it was one way.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're gonna need about 4 or 5 people to make that justified. Okay, yeah, I cannot get you a limo.
I've done some looking around, and I know that I'm hoping that I probably won't get some of that right. But just if you're in that predicament, do some shopping around. You'll be able to see what is really going to be worth it. Also, don't forget, if you do a town car or a car service of sorts, it's usually customary to tip. Usually, 15 to 20% on top of that. But you'll get some nice services too. It's going to be a personalized service. And that's the thing. Sometimes you want to be pampered.
Usually.
Yeah. I like the Disney Cruise Line buses, to be honest with you.
Aren't they the same bus, just a different wrap on the outside as the Magical Express?
I'm not even talking about the wrap or anything. I like it because, I think for my family, they just kind of equate being on that bus as, hey, we're going somewhere Disney and it's going to be great. That's just, you kind of catch my drift. It's a mental thing in some ways. And as I said, you gotta do what's best for you.
Aaron wants to know why Bob hasn't come out and said anything. Bob didn't really think he would have to come out. So he's like, resort parking fee? What do I need a press conference for? They're calling for it. Oh, they are calling for it. Now, Lisa wants to know, what if you modify your reservation? The confirmation doesn't change. Would you still have to pay? No. Once again, if the reservation number does not change, you do not need to pay. It's only when that reservation number changes.
At least that's what we're being told now.
What? Let's see. Happily Ever Disney wants to know, or Happy Ever Disney. Sorry. What I want to know is why you have to pay the parking fee at the cabins at Fort Wilderness when each cabin has their own parking spot. Why do the campsites get free parking because they have spots for cars and not cabins?
Don't know.
Sorry. I was not in the decision making of this. I hope you all understand this. I have no part of this.
Thank you for stumping us tonight. You win. Hey, wait.
Yeah.
Hold on. Next time I see you, you'll get a cough drop. So lemon flavored, sugar free.
I think that just because I make more money than some people at Pop, I get it. Like I get it's not. I get that that's not a fair way to think about it, but for someone who stays off site as often as I did, I'm telling you, man, the nicer the hotel you went to, the more the parking was. I'm telling you, I promise you. I was at I'm a big fan of the Rosen chain, Rosen. Go check them out. The Rosen that's a few minutes closer was $18 a day self-parking, $25 for valet. The Rosen Shingle Creek, which is their nicer resort, but it's a little bit further away, up 178 or whatever that is, was $20 for self-parking, and $27 a day for valet. Just saying. It's just, I don't know why, but I guess they figure if you can afford the room, you can afford the parking. It is blasphemy. I agree. It is absolute blasphemy, and I apologize for this.
Listen, you're going to pay $50 a night parking downtown Chicago.
Oh, I was joking with somebody the other day when this came out, and I was talking to them, and I said, I don't even want to tell you guys what I had to pay for parking in Washington, D.C. I stayed downtown at the Hilton. Now, if anybody's familiar with the area, you know where the Hilton is. I mean, it is centrally located. And you might say, why'd you park there? That's where I was staying. I paid $62 a day. And it wasn't valet. People, I had to park my own car. 62, and it was mandatory unless you wanted to park somewhere else. But, I mean, Washington, D.C. at night, it's our nation's capital. Thanks for that. But it's not the safest place to be walking around at night by yourself. Oh, man. So I've paid some ridiculous parking fees in my day. Come on, Trisha, you're from Jersey. You know how New York is. Go book us a limo, nice and bougie. Yeah, I got a limo guy for you.
What is this word bougie?
Bougie?
Never heard that before.
Bougie. You never heard it? No. Like pinkies up.
Oh, gosh.
Pinkies up. We stayed at a port hotel, and they let us park at the car while we were on the cruise. They take you to the port in the morning. Yeah, I mean, that's always an option, too. But a lot of these people are... What'd you say?
I was going to say, some people do that. I myself have never done that. I guess in some ways, those people know your car's sitting there, and you're out of the country for several days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They know you're out of, they know you're on a boat somewhere that you can't, you're not just going to randomly show up at 4 in the afternoon to check your car. Oh, man. Yeah. Chris, why don't you tell them what the little surprise is since we're on the tail end here?
We're going to try something new tonight. Okay. But you guys have got to behave yourselves.
I promise you this. When Christopher explains it all, and whatever happens, my mouse will be sitting on the end broadcast button the entire time, and you'll see why.
And I will be more than happy to press a button. Here's the deal. Danny won't actually be able to, you won't be able to hear Danny, but I'm going to go ahead and take a caller. Okay. You'll be live on the air, and you can ask us any question, voice any comment that you want. So, Danny, do you want to go put the number on the screen? Because I don't want to necessarily bother our podcast listeners with this. Danny's going to put that number on the screen. If you get a busy signal or you get the voicemail, just try again. Don't leave a message because I'm not going to check it later. So that's the number right there on your screen. Go ahead and give that a try. This is, by the way, not my personal number. This is a business number, and it will be disabled after the show. So if you're watching this in a replay, please don't bother calling. We won't pick up. It's as simple as that. So if you want to say something about what's going on, or even change the topic on us, which would actually be really good, we would be more than happy to see if we could actually get this to work tonight. And it would be really cool to hear this. So I am waiting for my phone to ring. So I think I'll be honest with you, Danny.
I kind of wanted to call you real quick.
Oh, really?
I wanted to be the first caller. Yes, once again, handicap parking, self-parking, and valet is still complimentary.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's see. You have to pay at Vero. Nope, Vero is not on the list.
And also one of those, I saw a message here, if I'm watching from my phone, how can I call? Go steal your kid's phone.
Use a landline. Jeez. Please change the topic. I'm trying. We're desperately trying to change the topic. We're running out of time.
What do we have here? Hold on. And who do we have on the call tonight?
This is Stephen Mary.
Hey, Stephen, how you doing tonight?
We're good.
Good. So what's going on? What can we do for you today?
We just want to change the topic to food. That would be more fun.
You want to change the topic to food. Well, hey, I'll tell you right now, I think that sounds like a pretty good idea. What's your food-related question, comment, or otherwise, or do you have a recipe that you can share with us?
Well, we like to eat at Narcoossee's, and I don't think you've ever tried that. You like the California Grill, so we think you should try Narcoossee's.
I appreciate that, and the reason is that I know that my wife and I are trying to plan our trip for just an adults only trip, and I think that would actually be a a good thing to actually try. We're still kind of contemplating some of the menus, but I will certainly take that under advisement.
If you eat there, ask for who's a waiter, man. Who's the waiter, man?
He's got a guy.
You got a guy. I love it.
I don't remember the waiter. Who's the waiter we get there, man?
Oh, Oz.
Chevy, like Chevy Chase.
Okay.
Or Christine. Or Christy if she's not there.
He's got a whole slew
I
of
drew a
people.
blank right as I was trying to tell you his name.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely hilarious. I mean, and I that is really cool because you know what? Anytime you can get a really good server, you're all up for it. I could definitely agree with that.
He's been there since the '80s, so.
Oh wow, that's you know what? I have found that the servers with the most experience in the Disney resort hotels, as well as the parks themselves, they are some of the best people. You know, I'm not saying that the ones with lesser experience are not good, but I love the people that have been there as a career and it's really treated them well. So that's really cool. What's your favorite kind of dish there at Nakursi's?
Well, it's a 2-credit dining, so before they took it off the menu, but we still can piece it together. They used to have a filet and lobster tail dinner, but they said on the dining plan, Chevy told us it wasn't cost effective anymore. But you can still, one person get the filet and the other person get the lobster tail dinner and split it.
See, that's what we would do.
It's 2 whole lobster tails and an 8-ounce steak. So you give one of the lobster tails to the other person and they give you half the steak and you still both get 2 sides.
Oh my gosh. You know, I love lobster. It's one of those things. I haven't had lobster in years. My wife won't touch seafood for the most part, but she would definitely do that fillet.
Oh.
I'll tell you that right now. But I could see that happening. That is really awesome. Well,
And the dessert you got to try is the white chocolate encrusted cheesecake.
Oh man, my mouth just watered because of that. I mean, seriously.
His wife just.
And Mary, my wife, makes that every Christmas for us to eat. She makes a whole cheesecake, and hers is better than Disney.
Mary, send me the recipe, please. That sounds like it's so good. It's bypasses the digestive system and turns directly into body fat. So, well, Steve, hey, thanks a lot for calling. We're going to try to take one more call before tonight, but thanks for being our first caller of the night.
No problem.
Take care. We'll see ya.
Have a good one, man.
Oh, that was cool. We'll take one more call, maybe even 2. We'll have to see how it goes. So I will just wait for my phone to ring again.
Now, was people trying to beep in before? I heard the beeps.
Yeah, only because I didn't press the button to turn the beep off.
Okay.
We've got another caller. Good evening. You're live with Behind the Ears Podcast. Who are we talking to tonight?
What's up, guys?
Oh, Jessica. Jessica's on. That's really cool. What's up?
Hey, I wanted to let you know that the jacket scandal has been solved. My jacket will be arriving in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh, really? No, for people that don't know this dilemma is that Jessica, for some reason, well, she ordered one of the jackets for Run Disney. And it was the Dopey Challenge jackets?
Yeah, it was the Dopey Finisher jacket.
Right. And unfortunately, not only have they charged her twice for it, but they said it was delivered and it never showed up. And so it was kind of one of those things where she was aggressively pursuing getting this jacket, which is just a nice way of putting it. So
they were getting sick of me calling.
So in other words,
they were on speed dial.
So they saw Jessica's phone number on caller ID, and they're like, "Okay, whose turn is it to take her call again?" So, well, that's cool. Hey, Jess, while you're here, you got a question, comment, Snyder Mark brownie recipe?
Oh no, but after hearing about that other restaurant, we're definitely going to book there for our honeymoon. That sounds so good. You know how much we love the deluxe dining plan.
Yes.
So the 2-credit dining, that's what we go for.
I'd
And
love
we've
that she
never done
can't
that
hear
one.
me. It's
Okay.
absolutely fantastic. I could talk so much junk.
Oh my
Sounds
gosh.
so
Yeah.
good.
I mean, you know what? We have got the best listeners when they know where to go and get some real awesome, unique dining. Seriously, my mouth is still watering to hear about that chocolate encrusted cheesecake. I mean, seriously, I don't know what to do. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. All right, Jess, we're going to take one more call after this, but thanks a lot for calling in. So good to talk to you.
Good night.
All right, we'll see ya. All right, we'll try one more call, and then I think we're going to be out of time. So, Danny, you can go ahead and take that number off the screen and after we get this next call. But we'll see. And if you get the voicemail, hey, get the voicemail, but don't leave a message because, I won't be calling. So we'll see if I get one more call. This is cool. I like this.
Can we have like a waiting room for them?
I wish
We'll
I
talk
could.
about that later.
Yeah, we'll have
There's got to be a
figure
way to do that.
We'll figure it out. I'm just being really cheap. I think I know who this is. Is this happens to be the one, the only, the famous Stan Solo by chance?
You got it.
Ask him how he's
Did
feeling.
Winnipeg come up on the call display?
I'm sorry, say again?
I said, did Winnipeg come up on the call display?
Actually, it did, and I know that's where you're from. Hey, first and foremost, how are you feeling, my friend?
Actually, my wife's walking in the door wanting to put my drops in right now. So, that's 15 minutes.
Yeah, I totally get that. So what's going on? What can we do for you tonight? Uh-oh.
Oh,
Sounds
That's
like...
it. That's what he wanted. That's all he wanted.
Just wanted to say
gotta do
hi.
it.
For some reason, it dropped. All right, hopefully he can call back. Or you know what? Maybe I should just call him back. No,
Well,
I
this
better
could be
not.
interesting.
I don't know if I get Canadian calling on my phone for free.
Don't do it.
I mean,
It's international.
I know we just did our taxes for the show, and we're actually in the black. I kind of want to keep it that way.
Oh my God, Carol thinks we should make a cookbook from all our recipes.
You know what?
The behind the ears cookbook.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool. You know what? Put that number up one more time, and we'll do one more call. Unfortunately, Stan, really I hope you're feeling better. We'll take one more call. Hopefully, maybe Stan will win.
Narcoses was the restaurant?
Narcoses.
Yeah.
And I believe it's over at the Grand Floridian. Yep, there we go. Thanks, Mary. I tell you the truth, Kathy just got home from work, and I think after this, I'm gonna have to bring it up and see what she has to say. But
So 5,
she's
4, 3, 2, 1, ring. All right, we're gonna take that number off. We're running out of time here anyway, but so we'll have to figure out some technical issues with that. But we seem to really the listeners really did enjoy that little segment, so I'm glad we were able to. What about the bathroom book? The bathroom book's coming.
book. Yeah,
It's years away.
Well, thanks for everybody for calling in, and by all means, we'll probably do that again sometime in the future. We'll just, as I said, we're kind of playing with some things. Hope everybody was able to hear everybody. Hope everybody was able to hear everybody well. And again, I just love talking with our listeners. Quite honestly, I think we've got some of the most awesome listeners out there, partially because we are just a part of one big community, and that really means something to me. And I know it means something to you, and I sure hope it means something to everybody that's a part of that as well. So Danny, I think it's time to go ahead and wrap this wonderful show number 201 up.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We love the fact everybody's participating, and we see a lot of people really want a cookbook. So it looks like we have another thing to add to our list to do. Stan, we hope we can get in touch with you soon, and hope everything's going well over by you. Big prayers to everybody affected by what's going on in Florida with that bridge collapse tonight. Keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers with that one. But with that being said, it is almost the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. It is almost time to party. But the problem with the weekend means there's no Behind the Ears podcast till Tuesday. With that being said, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. Facebook is Behind the Ears Podcast, Instagram Behind the Ears Podcast, and Twitter Behind the Ears PC. Trisha would kill me if I didn't mention it, so join the WDW community over on Facebook. You could also follow us on YouTube at Behind the Ears Podcast. And lastly, head on over to iTunes, type in Behind the Ears Podcast. You get all our stuff right there. But while you're there, take the 5 seconds and just do us a favor. rate and review the show. It would mean the world to us. With that being said, everybody, tuck your kids in that night. Oh, what was the juice I had to make everybody drink?
Well, it wasn't cranberry.
No, what was the other thing?
Eggnog from last night?
Eggnog, the eggnog, yes. In memory of the eggnog truck. Tuck your kids in at night, drink your eggnog, have a safe and wonderful weekend. I am Uncle Danny. Stay bougie, America.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Thanks a lot for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, no matter how you get it. Apple Podcasts, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Alexa, as well as Google Home. Go ahead, ask them all to play it. It's going to be awesome. But until we meet again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Take care.